One of the things I hear, from my compatriots, especially, I don't know how it is in Australia, but in the United States, it's always like, oh, we have so much freedom, and we have so, like, well, I actually feel, I lived in the United States. I didn't feel very free, actually.
Right.
But like one thing I noticed about China is it has a lot of different mechanisms, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this consultative process. And I could go to if I was a Chinese person, especially, I can go to like the CPPCC local office and complain. Or if I was in a village, I could go to my local, village head and complain about something,
Mm.
whatever it is. I don't know. And then they'll, probably reasonably try to find a solution to that problem. That doesn't really exist in the United States. If I was in Oakdale, California, Modesto, California, wherever, I couldn't go to the mayor and just say, hey, I have a complaint. They wouldn't take me in a meeting, right? Because I'm nobody. But in China, it's you're somebody. So like,
in fairness, they probably wouldn't take you to the mayor's office for your complaint in China either, in fairness, but they would record it. And this is a requirement. I've actually been through the NPC process with Guangdong Television, and we've been making a series of videos. We have one more left to make, which I'll be doing later this month, 2 days in Shenzhen, looking at a National People's Congress delegate, or I can't remember if they use delegate or representative. Anyway, a person who's a member of the National People's Congress, and how they work. We followed them around for a couple of days and I learned a lot about it. But you're absolutely right. 12345 is a telephone number. Now, if I'm in Zhongshan and I dial 12345, I get through to the Zhongshan government. You're in Beijing, you dial 12345, you get through to the Beijing government. Neither of us are going to get through to the mayor, but we are going to have our complaints registered. Now, in the case of me, I've used this several times where I've been in a city, in a town, and the hotel says, no, we can't take you. Sorry, we can't take foreigners. And I say, yes, you can. And I have a letter. It's written in Chinese, and it was written actually by DeepSeek for me. And, because I wanted to have the proper legislation. I've got the acts and the sections. I've got it all in this letter. And it says, call 12345. And if they say, no, I'm not calling 12345, I do. I just call them and I tell them, these people tell me that I can't, I'm a foreigner. And you can tell I'm a foreigner from my voice, but, I've been told I can't stay in this hotel in this town, in your town. And they say, well, yes, you can. I said, well, can you tell them that, please? And I hand the phone over. And then I've had people say, oh, no, they said you can't. I said, okay, let's phone the police. What? Let's phone the police then. And they say, well, you phone the police. And I said, well, I will if you want me to. But if you want me to phone the police, they will come here and say, why are you not accepting this foreigner? If you phone the police and say, is it okay for me to accept this foreigner? They will say, good on you for asking and checking, but yes, it is. That's the way it is in China now. You can call that number. So the 12345 works. Walking into the government office, and every neighborhood has one. They're all painted red and white. You can't miss them. They've got lots of flags. So you walk in there and you say, I've got a problem. They go, what's the problem? Or I've got a suggestion or a solution to somebody else's problem. They say, oh, that's good. Can you help us out with that? And they will take it from you. They record it. Everything gets recorded. They have thousands and thousands of pieces of paper. But now they've also got an app on the phone. So you can actually go onto an NPC app and record a problem, report a complaint, report an issue, offer a solution or a suggestion, and it's all recorded. And everything constitutionally must be dealt with. It's written into the Constitution of China. It's also written into the Constitution of the CPC that they must help the people that they're there to represent. So yeah, it's a very, very different situation to if I were to, for example, to try and walk into my local community office. Now, this is a good thing about both America, Australia, and the UK I'm aware of. If you go to a local community level, you usually get things done, because they're people from your own community, usually. And many of them are there as they're volunteers or they're elected, and they want to help. That's why they're there. So at local level, if you think about the NPC as being a massive local level for 1.4 billion people, that's the way it works. They are all volunteers. They're there because they want to help. 100% of the National People's Congress are volunteers. Now, many of them are government workers, government employees, but they volunteer their time outside of their job. Some of them are street cleaners. It's a government worker, but some of them are military officers, government workers, but they volunteer their time Now, their employer will probably say you can have that time because you're representing the country, and it's good for my business to have you go to Beijing, or even to the Provincial People's Congress or the Municipal People's Congress. But this is the way that it works. The whole country is treated like a local council in the UK. I walk into the local council and say, I've got a problem. They say, okay, what can we do to help you? That's local council levels. And many Americans tell me this. I'm sure you'll agree with it. If you have a problem locally in America, you can usually get it sorted. If you have a geopolitical or a national issue, you haven't got a hope in hell because you're not part of the lobby. You're not going to get near your senator. If you do get near your senator, he or she is too busy going to and from meetings and donor meetings and lobbyist meetings, and they don't have time for people like you and I who walk in and say, I got a problem. But the national level here, they do. You take it in to your local council, and it gets dealt with, if needed, if necessary, at a national level. That's the beauty of the system in China.